Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, Prime Minister Perry Christie responds to claims that web shops have financed the PLP's by-election campaign. Also, hear what the former Prime Minister's admission is about members of his party receiving web shop donations. Sandals Emerald Bay facing serious financial problems, plus BEC explains this morning's island-wide blackout. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and MB12 starts right now. Welcome once again to MB12. 2.5 weeks before the North Abaco by-election, Prime Minister Perry Christie is responding to reports that the Progressive Liberal Party received funding for its campaign from web shops. He told reporters today he's not sure if the PLP will disclose the names of the people or businesses it receives money from. However, he's hoping the governing party has a lot of lawful donations. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham also opened up on whether web shops have donated money to the Free National Movement. Vonique Toot takes it from here.
As the two major political parties prepare for the North Abaco by-election, the issue of campaign finance reform has resurfaced. Particularly, have the Free National Movement or Progressive Liberal Party ever received funding from any of the numbers houses? In an exclusive interview with NB12, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham revealed that a number of F&M candidates received donations from one of the web shops to campaign in their respective constituencies. However, he says as far as he is aware, the Free National Movement did not.
I'm aware that a couple of candidates of the F&M received some monies from one of the number houses. I'm aware of that. But the Free National Movement and the Free National Movement coffers, the coffers of the Free National Movement, for which I had responsibility, I'm not aware of any.
In the weeks leading up to the May 7th general election, the then Prime Minister made several public appeals for monetary donations, saying the party needed additional funding for its election campaign. The F&M reportedly raised $131,000 through online donations during a 3-week period. However, Mr. Ingraham made it clear at the time that he would not accept financial contributions from just anyone. Today, we asked him if he had a problem with F&M candidates receiving money from web shops.
I discovered that late. Wasn't a problem for me, but I wouldn't have accepted it from the party's point of view.
Meantime, there have been reports that the PLP accepted money from numbers houses for its by-election campaign. Prime Minister Perry Christie told reporters today he does not know if it's true or not.
No, you got to ask whoever's raising the monies specifically. And plus, it wouldn't be fair for me to say that. The by-election campaign of the PLP, we have fundraisers. I don't know. I mean, it obviously comes up as to who they donate to and don't donate to. I'm hoping that we have a lot of lawful donations, a lot of people who can do it. This is what you're asking me about campaign finance reform. Until such time as companies that pay national insurance that do these different things are able to make donations, and I don't know that we are going to disclose the names of any of them.
However, he says very few people are interested in funding by-election campaigns.
In the Elizabeth by-election, I raised $185,000 just by telling people I wanted to make a minimum donation of $500. All right? And that's what I'm doing now. There's a list that I have that I can go to. And for some people, I have to facilitate their anonymously giving, but they don't want people to know they're giving. But these are professionals, and whether it's the medical profession, engineering, law, whatever the case might be. I'm trying to raise some money that right now. How much did you raise?
The Prime Minister said back in July the time has come for political parties to seriously discuss campaign finance reform. However, he has not committed to enacting legislation that would govern political spending. He urged party leaders to choose who they accept money from wisely and ensure their sources are legitimate. Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Well, the fate of Sandals Emerald Bay on Exuma being called into question following the revelation by Prime Minister Perry Christie today that the luxury resort could possibly face closing its doors. The Prime Minister was addressing the Bahamas Economic Recovery Strategy meeting at the British Colonial Hilton today when he said the resort, which employs more than 100 people on the island, is facing financial difficulties.
Today in Exuma, we have challenges of a place like Sandals, where the developers, Butch Stewart has put an incredible amount of money into it, has developed an incredibly beautiful product, but is fighting to try to stop from losing an enormous amount of money and could close it, and that we have to try to see what model can work.
When contacted by our news team today, Sandals executives did not refute the Prime Minister's comments, saying the hotel has yet to turn a profit. In fact, hotel manager Kyle Mave said resort executives recently met with the Prime Minister to discuss the challenges Sandals Emerald Bay is facing. He said the government has promised to find a way to help the resort keep its doors open. Sandals Emerald Bay reopened about 2 years ago after the Jamaican luxury resort conglomerate invested $80 million. Executives said last year that they did not expect to see a return on their investment until 2014, but believed they would see the majority of the return by 2012. In the meantime, the Prime Minister says the government must put policies in place that protect the entire tourism industry.
Try to understand the fact that we are the closest offshore country to the United States of America, and therefore there are manifold advantages that should flow from that. Try to understand that if President Barack Obama wins again, he might liberalize Cuba further, and there's a major implication in terms of competitiveness to our tourism industry of a Cuba developing even further.
And in other news tonight, it's been 18 days since banks throughout the Bahamas began taking applications from homeowners seeking assistance through the government's mortgage relief plan. While Director of Economic Planning Simon Wilson revealed that hundreds of people have inquired about the program, applications are still in the processing phase. Our Jasmine Bonamy has the details in this report.
This afternoon, Wilson revealed just how many homeowners have turned up to clearing banks across the country, revealing that hundreds of people have already inquired about the mortgage relief plan. Wilson revealed those numbers while speaking at a Rotary Club of West Nassau luncheon today. He revealed that since the application process began on September 10th, more than 100 people have inquired each week for a total of over 300 inquiries. Of those that have inquired so far, 25% actually qualify for the program.
On average, 100 persons a week have been inquiring. Now that excludes credit unions, insurance companies, and the Bahamas Mortgage Corporation.
Despite the hundreds of people inquiring, no applications have been approved by the clearing banks. Wilson says that's because those applications are still being processed and those approvals are not expected for another few weeks.
We don't know exactly yet because they actually meet the requirements, but there are some other things that have to be done before they can actually be enrolled in the program. I mean, most important, the disbursements by the government has to take place. They have to sign what is a forbearance agreement, all right, which is a standard agreement where the financial institution says, I am not going to take action against you unless you do this.
Earlier this month, officials revealed that more than 4,000 mortgage accounts are in arrears in the Bahamas. According to central bank statistics, as of July 31st, 2012, total private sector loans total $6.2 billion, and mortgages represent $3 billion or 50%. Those statistics also indicate that mortgages in arrears over 90 days total $460 million. According to a rough estimate by clearing banks, it is projected that as many as 1,000 mortgage holders could benefit under the plan. They also estimate that would leave 3,000 plus mortgagees without help. To qualify under the plan, mortgage holders must have maintained good credit history prior to June 2008. Wilson says the ministry has several safeguards in place to ensure no one defrauds the program, including the proposed Homeowners Protection Bill.
It clarifies the rules regarding foreclosure. Because no foreclosure, for most people, is perhaps their most traumatic experience. And all the bill seeks to do is clarify the rules regarding foreclosure.
After a different version of the plan was first introduced in April, top rating agency Moody's called the plan a credit negative, saying it displayed a lack of commitment to bringing down the national debt. Moody's estimated that the proposal will cost the government $250 million. But Wilson says the Clearing Banks Association and government is completely behind this retweaked version, which should top off at about $10 million. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
And relatives, friends, and former colleagues of the late Paul Adderley viewed his body in the foyer of the House of Assembly today ahead of tomorrow's state funeral. Prime Minister Perry Christie, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham, and former Governors General Dame Ivy Dumont and author Hannah were among those paying their respects today. Christie and Dame Ivy remembered the former Attorney General as a great Bahamian.
The magnitude and diversity of his impact is so profoundly important, I think, to the future that it will be a tragedy if we were not to build on what I will say tomorrow towards having a full account of his life.
Paul's always been a very quiet person. He was happy to come by and pick up Reggie when he could no longer drive. So I remember him as being kind. And I remember him also as being thorough in whatever he did. A gentleman, very reminiscent of his father.
Adderley, who was one of the framers of the Bahamas Constitution, died at Princess Margaret Hospital last week. He was 84 years old. In the days since his death, he has been remembered as a freedom fighter who had a sharp legal mind and agitated for majority rule and independence. He held several posts in the Punding cabinet, including Minister of National Security, Minister of Education, and Foreign Affairs Minister. He served as Attorney General for 17 years.